we all use different decks. Today I'm gonna show you the best deck for this meta. Get ready for the controversy. So let's start the video. At number 5, I'm putting Firebait. The Firebait actually a super deck. You can have Royal Recruit for defense and a Mighty Miner for clear up big tanky. You can have a Goblin Cage down for hog or any kind of win conditions. You also can defense no skill pick, spiky or any kind of no skill push with your Evo Recruit or Royal Recruit, whatever you want, and you have Flying Machine to clear up everything, and then you can have a nice counter push with Royal Hog and they can't defend your counter push and you can get a lots of damage. And you also can use Royal Hog at offense anytime you want or fast play you want it, and this win condition is very hard to defense. And you also can have a nice Evo Goblin Cage that will kill his main offensive card, and then you can stop his inter push very easily. This underrated Goblin Cage can be very useful many times. You can have Jappies to stop his entire big push, and you have Arrow to kill his Firecracker or any type of small troop that might give you problem, but they can't. So this deck is super. At number 4, I am putting 2.9 Usher Queen with Royal Hog, and now we have Evo Cannon that could be very useful. This deck have a nice defense and you can easily counter your hardest matchup by your skin. So this deck is super. You have Royal Delivery and Usher Queen ability that could be clear up every single push. This deck is super in this season with this new Cannon evolution. And Royal Hog is the hardest win condition to defense. They can give you a nice value, and you have a Evo Skeleton that could be very useful. No elixir, then the Evo Skeleton gonna be super. And Earthquake with Royal Hog can be very useful a lots of time, and Archer Queen ability is super useful if your opponent using Swarm or big troop. No matter what they using, Archer Queen ability gonna be very useful, and Earthquake cycle can be very useful in overtime, cause that time you will have 3 elixir cycle and Earthquake gives a lots of damage in tower. So yeah, this deck is very powerful and you can counter any deck by using this deck. This deck have a few counters and this deck is super useful in this meta. So it's time for number 3. So number 3, I'm seeing P.E.K.K.A. Lumberlone Freeze with Evo Electro Dragon is super. You can have a nice Evo Electro Dragon to kill any Inferno type troop or any hard push that might give you trouble, but now they can't give you trouble, and a uncertain freeze that will give you a lots of value and your opponent can't imagine how they're gonna defense, and they will end up being gets a lots of damage. And you have a Barbarian Barrel to kill your opponent's Goblin Barrel and can kill a lots of troop and can give you a lots of value into elixir. And you also have Ice Wizard that is super powerful defensive troop in this meta that slow down your opponent troop in 1 second. And you can have a no skill Lumberlone push that could be end up or forcing your opponent to overspend. Nowadays people like no skill deck more than high skill deck, so this deck could be very better for you, and you can easily counter them with your Tower Lane Lumber Balloon and P.E.K.K.A. Electro Dragon push that could be a very difficult to defense and they will end up being crushed. So at number 2, I'm putting 2.6 Hawk Cycle. You all know 2.6 how strong and how strong the 2.6 defense is, and nowadays 2.6 get a new evolution called Evo Musketeer that could snipe down your opponent troop, and that's give a lots of value, and you can defense your opponent push very easily with your Musketeer and Cannon that could be kill your opponent's P.E.K.K.A. or any kind of push that very popular in this meta. And you can give a nice Hog and Ice Golem push that always Hog gets a 1 hit that very nice for you. Then you can defense any kind of push with your Evo Cannon and Musketeer. So this deck is very well. So it's time for number 1. So at number 1, I'm putting the P.E.K.K.A. Knight with Executioner that's have 3 spell and a Goblin Bush that could be very difficult to stop for your opponent. This deck can defense any kind of deck like Elixir Golem, whatever they have. If they destroy your tower and you don't have Elixir to defense, you don't have to worry. You can anytime get their tower with your P.E.K.K.A. Executioner push, and P.E.K.K.A can defend any kind of push and can give you a nice elixir value. And if they play P.E.K.K.A in front, execution are gonna destroy their tower, and if they play P.E.K.K.A on back, the P.E.K.K.A gonna kill his P.E.K.K.A and you can get his entire tower, and that's gonna be tower trade for you. So this deck is super useful in this season, and you have a boy to get a nice elixir value, and you can defend their no skill push with your P.E.K.K.A knight, and you can give a nice counter push to them with your P.E.K.K.A. And if you gonna try to defense with P.E.K.K.A, you can have double P.E.K.K.A, and this deck is very fast cycle, so you can have double P.E.K.K.A on field very easily, and you have a lots of spell like arrow, void and jab. So yeah, this deck is super useful in this season. They're running a lots of troops, so void gonna very useful in this season to kill mosquito cannon, and arrows for firecracker or any other storm troop, and jab for clear inferno reached inferno type troop. So this deck is super powerful. You can have other opinion for my deck, so you can comment your opinion. That's for today. Subscribe for more interesting videos.